Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Kasim, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be talking you through my process of building lovable apps and what I think is possible with Lovable, and then also where I think that kind of like restrictions are. And this is from me building my own Lovable SaaS product, which is called Audio Flow, and I built a few other products via Lovable. So basically, what I want to do is just kind of teach you once a week on what my process is building Lovable products using these techniques, which I found really useful for me, and hopefully you can find useful for you. So just to let you know a little bit about me, so I'm Kasim, and I've got a company called Audio Flow, which is a SaaS company which is actually built from Lovable, but it's a very complex build. And what it does, it actually lets you as a user build your own conversational podcasts. And it basically then has variations of different dashboards. It allows approvals. It allows you to change the audio in the actual podcasts from different languages, and there's a variation of different things. So today's episode, I'm going to be talking about building CRMs. So one of my businesses, Unscripted Digital, which is a marketing agency, um, it has a lot of dental practices that we work with, and the dental space. I know a lot of people kind of think it's very easy to kind of get into, but there's a lot of things like from an AI perspective that dental practices just aren't aware of. So one thing as a kind of AI consultant for one of my other businesses, Day 7, is that we actually go into dental practices and we talk about how we can do transformations with AI tools. And with people who pay a lot of money on like annual subscriptions for things like CRMs, it's how can we build you a CRM which will then reduce down your pricing on an annual basis. And then you have total control because a lot of people then go, okay, so this CRM doesn't do X, it does this well, but it doesn't do this. As you can see, this is one of the examples of a really popular tool in the dental space called Dentally. It's got 70,000 dental practices worldwide on it. But in theory, all CRMs are pretty much the same. They've just put a wrapper on it, which has made it more specific for dental practices. So what we're going to do is look at how we could potentially build something very similar to Dentally, and then white label this and then just sell it to dental practices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go you through my process and how to do this. There's obviously going to be different ways people do this in kind of in their own unique way, but this is just the way I kind of feel is probably the best for me to do it. Now, I'm not the most super technical person, but I have a very good awareness of what is possible um, with software, and then how to connect it with other softwares using APIs and so forth. So hopefully you find this useful, and what we'll do is that we'll basically start building a CRM and we'll see how far we can get. So with the Dentally product, as you can see here then, so give me 2 seconds. So obviously they've got a very good website, and we can probably didn't build like a front end of this, but with my agency, I'm not going to be building front ends for selling CRMs. This is basically for people who might not have a CRM when we do the consultancy piece, and then we can just offer it. But we need to know what the competitors are doing. So what we're going to do is quickly just look on what these guys do from a portal perspective, and then their features as well, and then we can get our features to do the same. So what we want to do is just look on their website and have a glance to kind of go, okay, so what exactly does this CRM do that's any different to any of the CRM? In fairness, there's not really that much, to be honest. What I can see that's specific for a dental practice. Now, most dental practices need to do some certain things. It needs to book patients in. It needs to counsel. It needs to look at diaries of dental professionals within there, because that could be dentists, it could be hygienists, and so forth. So what it needs to do is have like a diary built into there as a booking system. And then what they want to do is obviously just as a dental practice owner is obviously look at the costs that are coming in and out. So what I would do is I would go in here, pick the link, and then what I'm going to use is agent mode on ChatGPT, just to do some deep research into this. So what I would prompt it and say is I'm building CRM for dental practices, and I want it to have all the same features as this platform. Oops. I accidentally pressed go and I wasn't meant to do that, so let me just go back up. Just take that because I was still typing, which is very annoying. And then let me just go back and get the link again, because it happily just took my link. Sorry, I'm getting used to Macs, as I'm normally a PC person, but I'm on a Mac at the moment. So let's go for that. So this is going to take a few minutes. So basically what I'm going to do is, whilst this is thinking, I'll talk you through kind of what the next steps are. So I'll get it to look at Dentally, and it will basically pull out all the key features there from me. What I want to do then is get it to build me a list of prompts step by step to build this within Lovable. Now with Lovable, if you were just to kind of go on the actual Lovable platform and say, listen, I want to do X, Y, Z, I want to build a platform like this, it'll do this. Yeah, it will give you kind of the initial phase and probably the first page of the CRM. But what it's not going to do is build the full thing for you. So people think that with like these Lovable platforms that you're just going to do one prompt and it will build you a product. Now, if it was a very simple product, potentially that could happen. But in reality is that you actually need to prompt these really well, and you need to go back and forth and keep testing, building pages, and doing feature by feature. So normally what my process is to get ChatGPT, or you can use other platforms. I have used Manus before, just to give me an initial prompt list of every single prompt I need to do step by step in order to build my product. Now, it'll surprise you, because what it'll do is that it'll actually start giving you prompts for features that you probably didn't even think of. So most people think CRM, it's going to for booking, it can track X, Y, and Z. What this will do is that it will give you a prompt list and say, these are all the features that you need to consider when building a competitor of Dentally, for example. And this is what I found really useful, because like when I was building AudioFlow, in my mind, it was literally meant to be a quick tool that you drag and drop, you build your podcast, and it launches. And this, I'll do another episode on that. But what I got in return from doing this process is that I got an approval section. I've got how to edit afterwards if my podcast was wrong. And there's so many other features which I just didn't even think of, and I thought, oh my god, this is building me a product which is excelling my expectations. And then if you watch my other episode that I launched on the weekend, I talk about actually how I went to showcase AudioFlow to users, and got 50 leads off the back of it. So definitely something to consider. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the video whilst this is doing a lot of deep thinking at the moment, and then I'll come back whenever it's ready. Okay, so we've got our results back from ChatGPT. So it's told me exactly what I need to actually consider when building my CRM. So as you can see here, it's online booking scheduling, so 24-hour online booking. It's got diary control, it's got multi-channel link sharing. So there's loads of different features that we obviously then need to think about if building it on Lovable. Now, Lovable will have its restrictions, and it will basically be able to build us a MVP, or even I think now it's actually getting past the MVP stage. Personally, I think there's a lot of this what we can probably build ourselves. Now they probably spent millions building Dentally, or I wouldn't say that much, but a lot of money spent building this. But now what we need to do is see how far we can take our system. So there's a lot of things here which you probably thought a CRM, it could probably just do simple stuff, but this is looking at a lot more data from what a dental practice will need. So this is my starting point. So what we need to do in this episode, what we'll probably do is that we'll build the first part of this, which is online booking and scheduling. So what I will do is say for online booking and scheduling, give me all the prompts I need to build this on Lovable.ai. Oh no, it's .dev, isn't it? I need it to be a step-by-step prompt guide. I can build So I'm going to say I'm going to build it for my own dental practice, just because then I can make it a bit more bespoke. So what I'll do then is let this run. Now this is going to take another few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back when it's ready. Okay, so ChatGPT has given us my prompt list to set this up. So what I've done is that I've actually taken the first prompt and I've already built that in Lovable, just because I thought it would take its time, which it does. So this is the output from the first prompt. So it's built me kind of a front-facing booking system for me to book my appointments with. It looks like it's got calendar, it's got some available times, it's put some like regular checkups. So it's basically got the concept pretty well. Now it is ugly, but one thing I would say is don't worry about design and look and feel until the very end, because I think functionality is the key. One thing I have noticed is when you start messing around too much with like the look and feel and then the functions separately, it sometimes just, one thing with Lovable I've noticed is like you can prompt something and then all of a sudden it will just mess up something else that you didn't even talk about. That happened variations of times when I was building my other products. So you just need to be kind of like step by step, just build your product. And the good thing is now, like, we've got a full list of the next steps of what we actually want to build. So I wouldn't really go off script first. I would literally just go through ChatGPT, building out each step as it's basically said. And then what I'll do is I'll basically look at the product that ChatGPT has actually produced to me. And then I will start defining each page step by step. Now, some people might say to you, just build each feature step by step, get that right, move on, which is completely fine. There's different ways of doing this, but I think the way my mind works is I have to start seeing it. I need to start thinking, okay, if I was to do this, then what happens? If I was to press on this button, what's the result off the back of there? And then I start thinking about the functionalities of my product. Now, you could probably look at different design methodology behind like building product and SaaS products and so forth, but the way that I think these AI tools are really intuitive is like ChatGPT knows what Dentally CRM is needing to be done in order to build. So if I'm just taking these products step by step, it should just be able to build me my product really well. So as you can see here, it's building a separate page, navigation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep literally just building this part step by step. So this is just the initial product setup. Then it's going to go into the core features. And then it's going to go to advanced functionality. So as you can see, it's giving me quite a few steps to go through in order to get to just one part of this. Remember, we're only doing the first part of the CRM, which is the online booking and scheduling. Now, if you're building a product specifically for a client, now you could charge anywhere between like $5,000 to $10,000 for this, because if you actually think, right, 1 year from a business owner's perspective. So if I go to pricing on Dentally, while that's doing its thing over in Lovable, $300 or £300 per month if I have 2 surgeries. So that's if I'm not just one surgery practice, I've got 2 locations basically. Now, £300 per month is around about 3,600. Obviously, there are some advanced features, some cheaper features. But let's just go with this one, which is that they're saying is kind of their key one, which you might go 3,600 isn't that much. Now, you'd be surprised how many dental practices don't have CRMs in place. And yes, they can basically go for ease and they can go for this. But say, for example, you hit up a practice that has like 5 practices or multiple practices, like 10 plus, like as you can see there, it went crazy and it says so you have to contact them. So let's go with 8, which is the maximum I can see. So that's 720. So let me quickly just get a calculator up. 720 times 12 is 8,640. Now, say for example you do that over a 5-year period, it's 43,000. So if you were to charge them 10 grand and to say over a longer period, instead of paying 43,000 over that period, you could have your own CRM custom built for you right now for £10,000. And that's basically all you need to do. You might not even need to charge £5,000, 10,000. You can charge as much as you kind of think is right. Because the way that we're doing it is that we're doing it as a whole overall consultancy package. So we can say, here's your CRM, here's your AI receptionist, and there's other things that we're going to plug in. So that whole project could end up being about £20,000, but it's because we're doing it overall. And once you've built one, in theory, you just need to wrapper it up again. So the cost to you is not actually going to be that much. You could just basically copy and paste or remix on Lovable and keep going like that. So it might take you probably about 3-4 weeks to build the first initial product. But then iterations off the back of that, more customization to their clinic, how they work, is something that you can continue doing. So and what I'm going to do is just quickly just go for the next prompt now. So I've done prompt there, and let's see what the key features gets me at the end of this. So let's copy that, put it back into Lovable. So yeah, what we're doing is literally just building, and it does take time. Normally what I do is, whilst it's kind of thinking it's building that, I end up just doing something else in the meantime, because obviously I don't want to keep rushing and just watching it build. You can actually add notifications now on Lovable, so once the task is done, it kind of flags it up for you, so you don't have to like sit there waiting. But there's some points where it actually says that it needs to build things in the back end. So Lovable used to use Superbase, but they've basically built their own back end system. So you just press allow, and then it'll start building the back end for you. So yet again, this is something which is going to take a bit of time to build out. So I'm not going to bore you kind of watching this part. What I'll do is that I'll continue building, and then I'll try get to like the key phase 2, and then I'll come back and I'll see what we've got. Obviously I actually don't know what it's building. I can kind of go through all these peak points, but I'm going to trust the process of ChatGPT right now, and then afterwards I will start testing it to make sure that it actually is doing what we've built. So I'll be back probably in about 20 minutes when we've hopefully got to the end of phase 2. Okay, so welcome back, and let's see what we've produced. So let's have a look at what phase I've basically put into here. So I've gone through phase 1 and 2. So I've gone through the core booking features now. So all the prompts here are basically built into Lovable. I've not actually reviewed it myself yet, but I thought we could do that together because it'll be interesting for you to kind of see what I see. So I've gone through every single prompt. As you can see, it's given me a variation of different pages. So I think what it's basically done first is that it's built in like a front end for patients to basically go in and book appointments. So what it can do is it can book an appointment as a user of this or a patient, I'd say. And then it will give me the back end from a admin perspective. So let's have a little look at what it's given us. So it's given us a homepage, which I mean, it looks okay. It's not the most attractive, but what it'll do is that it'll tell us exactly what it can do. So it can do easy booking, flexible scheduling, patient portal, and secure and private. Now, one thing we need to talk about is compliance when it comes to like especially a dental or healthcare sector CRM. Now, if you're trying to sell this to a client, what you need to do is just definitely make sure, and this is probably most clients to be honest, is make sure that the product you're selling them is compliant when it comes to their data. Now, Lovable is a platform which has got compliance behind it, but what you need to do is just make sure that no data is actually going to go anywhere further than this. So that's something that you just really need to consider, and we will have a look probably. You can ask ChatGPT about how to actually make sure that you are compliant within the dental industry, and it's probably different laws and regulations based in the UK, US, or wherever. But I know that there's a big one called, I think it's called HIBA, which is for the dental specific data. So we just need to make sure that it covers that. As you can see at the moment, it is all based in the US because we haven't given it any details of a location, but that's completely fine. We can change that last minute. So it says that you can book an appointment. So it looks like I need to sign up or sign in order to do that. It has my appointments. So as a patient, I can quickly just go in and see my appointments and what date they are, because naturally I always forget. Because normally people book like 2-3 months in advance, so it'll probably tell me in here how to do that. It looks like it's got a new patient registration form as well. Obviously, depending on the dental practice, here in the UK we have NHS and then we have private, so we just need to figure out how that would work per one, but it just looks like it's a registration form. And then I assume that the dental practice will get back to that person if they want to register with that practice. Looks like we've got a contact, so just address, email, and so forth, and then obviously sign in. So what it's built me looks like it's a front end for a patient, and then we'll probably administrate it in the background. So if we go to admin, let's see what's given us in the back end. Admin denied, so admin privileges required. So it looks like I need to sign in order to get admin, but I actually don't know what the login details are. So give me the login and password for admin. Obviously you can change this later on, but we'll see what the generic one is, and we can go from there. So just give it 2 seconds. It's probably thinking about it. Now, one thing with Lovable, there's a developer part and there's actually this chat feature here. If you just got generic questions to ask and you don't actually want it to do any development, you can actually just go into this chat feature, which I never actually knew was even there until recently. So and I think you can actually talk instead of actually typing now. So let's see what my username and password is. So it looks like make yourself an admin. So create a username and password. Okay, refresh logback on. So go to admin dashboard. Okay, so it looks like as I am just obviously testing this, so it looks like it's just giving me I'll just use the agency. So hello at day 7. .ai, and then I'll just make a password up. Okay, oh, it's saying sign in. That's stupid of me. So I'll put in my name, and now I'll just create a cast account. So I obviously have an account now. So let's see, how do I get back into my admin? So access admin, so you'll have admin, so go to admin dashboard. So it's still saying it's denied. So sign up to there, make yourself an admin, and once sign up, you need to grant admin. So I need to probably just ask Lovable to do that. So give email. Oops. So obviously, I mean, that's good that I couldn't just create an account and then obviously get admin access. So obviously from the backend perspective, it looks like we need to just give myself some admin access. So probably thinking about that now, which is good. So whilst it's kind of just giving me that, what we'll do is that we'll look at what actually the next phase is in this. So it looks like it's doing an additional functionality, which implement users authentication in email, mobile verification. So there's all these different features now that it's basically saying that this is the next step in the phase of build. It looks like it's got a bit of design parts there. So some fade transactions in phase 4, polishing it off, and then it goes into there. But I don't honestly think this will get us to a good stage of building the first phase of this. But remember, if I actually go back into Dentally features, we're only building the first part of this, which is this part here. So online booking and scheduling. We still have all this to build yet. So dental forms, pre-appointment tasks, in-tasks, self-service, concierge. There's so much more for us to build, and this will take us a couple of weeks to properly perfect this. But just for kind of seeing my process and how I'm actually building these tools, obviously we're just building as we go now. Now the good thing is, if you were to charge this for a client, it makes it easy. You obviously know that you're getting paid for doing this work, and you could probably say like in 30 days, if you pay us £8,000, you can have your own CRM, which is definitely possible. Let me just see. So it looks like we've got a admin now. So let me just refresh. So it looks like I've got that. I need to go to admin now. Okay, perfect. It looks like, oh no, it's not. So if you're already logged in, log out. Okay, so sorry. Log out and then log back in. So sign in. See if that works. Obviously it is a bit frustrating when you're trying to do this, when you're trying to do it at speed, but it's good that it's kind of like taking it seriously. Still doing it, which is even more frustrating. Now this is where you're going to keep getting problems, and this is where you kind of go back and forth with the chat. I refreshed and still cannot get admin. Okay, I don't know why I did it in capitals. It looks like I'm shouting at the system, but obviously if we want to do this. And one thing I have noticed is a trick. If you say, give me your best developer and fix this, it just seems to like help fix things a little bit better. It's like when you're chatting to these large language models, sometimes if you like, not threaten it, but if you get frustrated because it's not doing what you want it to do, if you just prompt it to say, give me a better kind of developer, it seems like sometimes it actually helps make it trick into coding better and fixing problems better. Now, 80% of the time, it can probably just do it naturally itself, just by some natural prompting. But what I have noticed is kind of like getting frustrated with it and telling it to move on to another developer. It seems to do the trick sometimes. I'm not saying it always works, but seems like it does. So just give this a second. So log out completely and go back into it. So it's saying it's giving me access. Go to admin page. So let me just refresh and see if that works, because this is getting a little bit back and forth and tedious. Let me see. There's two admins. So admin manage and admin schedule. So it's still saying not. So let me just do this, refresh that. I'm logged in now, sign in. Let's see, saying welcome back. It's giving me a little button here that says manage bookings, but let me just go back into admin. It looks like it's still not letting me. Okay, I thought this is really important because this is something that I have actually seen a lot in Lovable when building. And what it does, it tells you to bring up the console, so we can actually see the code in the background when there's problems that occur. on a Mac, you can just go to like inspect here, and then it'll basically bring this, and you press on console. So it still hasn't fixed the issue, but what it's looking for is the issue itself, and it's probably thinking to itself, okay, I can't find the issue, but what I need you to do is just find it for me. So basically it's told me to bring up a log, so you can see this. So it's basically said that open the console, clear the console, refresh the page, and look for these error messages. So if I just do this, it'll basically start bringing up the error messages here for me. But I just need to go to admin, so admin page. It's still saying that. So what you can say is, I have done this. Oops, keep going back in capitals. Done this. One thing what it will do is, what I found easy is if sometimes you just screenshot what actually is coming up in the log, put it into the chat, and they can actually see the actual information here, because it's not going to be able to read anything here. So what you're going to need to do is keep copying and pasting like this part. So what I'll do is quickly do that now. Okay, so what it said here is, great, what do you see? Because obviously, like I said before, it can't see the actual console itself. So I just added a screenshot in, and then we can see, and it says exactly, we can see what actually is happening here. So you can't just put it in, you need to put a little prompt in here. So here is the screenshot, and then press enter. It takes a little bit of time because it's probably just reading this part here. This means absolutely nothing to me, to be honest, but hopefully it can figure out something out. You think it's just making, one thing I've noticed is like making simple things happen on Lovable, it just doesn't work. Like, as you can see here, like just putting this user as an admin should be relatively easy. Like, you'd think that would be possible, but it's just getting confused. Which is really frustrating. So yeah, let's just kind of keep on going and see where we get to with this. I just want to show you guys the back end from a system perspective, and then we can see what that looks like. Okay, so it's still thinking about it. Let me fix the issue. So it looks like it's saying it's found it. So found the issue. No user found in admin setting was false. So it's fixing that issue for me. We'll test it again, see how we get on. I'm going to leave the console open just in case we need to go back to it. Hopefully we won't. It looks like it's doing something in admin roles. The good thing is, because obviously we've moved away from Supabase, it seems like it fixes things a lot faster. So please try this. It's saying to refresh the page and log back in and out. Press F12 again, which is basically going to bring us this. I think it thinks we're on a normal PC opposed to a Mac. Look for these in order. So let's have a look. So let's refresh and then go to admin. I might need to log in and out, but let's see. Okay, no, it's actually found us. Okay, it looks like we're in. Okay, so let me just close down the console and let's see what the admin actually shows us now. So it looks like it's given us a really good back end here. So it's saying that we have 156 appointments, active patients, revenue. Obviously these are just placeholder stats, they're not real. But it will basically give you an idea of what this looks like. So today's appointments are X, quick actions, so managed services. I'm guessing if I press any of these, it probably won't take me anywhere, because obviously, yeah, we haven't prompted for any of these. So this is what I mean about, like, you can't one prompt certain things. Now it's basically, we're going to have to go through and build every single one of these pages in order for it to actually be functional. So that's basically where we are at the moment. Let's see what the other pages are. So manage, so admin page, manage. Okay, so it looks like we can add services, because that actually makes sense. So we need to understand exactly what, in our case, a dental practice is, what the patient is going to pay for this, deleting or amending this. So let me just go to amend and see what that cost is. So that is nice. It basically says root canal 90 minutes, price is X. These are the basically the practitioners who can actually do this service. It doesn't actually tell me. Okay, so it looks like they're click boxes. So I'm guessing we can input all the dentists into here, or all the people who can actually do the service, and then tick can say yes or no to them people. So that's nice. Oh yeah, so here looks at services and practitioners. So we can obviously add more or remove people, because sometimes you might not need a doctor, you might need a hygienist. So that's something that we can add in as an admin perspective. So yeah, I mean, look, we built this in what, we're like an hour of us kind of starting off, and this is only the first part of this. Now, as you can see, some pages don't work, some pages do. And what you could do is that you basically start honing in and like going, okay, for my dental practice or for this specific client, they have X amount of people, and you're going to have these chats with the actual client themselves to say, okay, so who's here, how much is X. We can probably get quite a lot of it from the website if it's up to date. And then you can build these products specifically for that person. One thing as well is, like, I've noticed dental practice owners and kind of busy practices, they don't want to do all this admin part. They don't want to set up, they just want a product which is set up for them. And that's where we can come in. Like, if we can charge, like, we can say, here's a product. If you want us to actually do the back end setup, we're going to have to charge you X amount in order to do that. And you keep iterating, going back and forth, and until you get the product right. You test, you make sure it works. And yeah, so I mean, I actually am doing a webinar next week to some dental practices, actually, around about 10 practices. So I probably will continue building this over the next couple of days. And then when we do the next week's episode, I'll probably just come back to it and let you know how we're getting on. But it'd be really good just to kind of know what else you want me to build. And each week we can build a product and kind of look at the process in building it. Because I think there's so many ideas right now, people kind of building it here, there, and everywhere. But I don't think, from what I've seen at the moment from like YouTube when I've been watching it, people are talking a lot about the end product. And they're talking about hey, we've made X amount millions on here. Now there's so much hard work that goes off the back of building this going forward. So if you're looking to build a CRM that you're looking to actually sell going forward, and you're wanting that £400 kind of reoccurring revenue payment, then you're going to have to think about marketing. Then you're going to have to get it out there. And yeah, it's definitely possible. And we can probably undercut Dentally quite significantly. But I'd also just do a bit of market research and kind of speak to dental practices and just say, like, hey, just doing some research. Do you mind helping me out on what services or software that you use? Because I work with a dental practice that uses Dentally for booking, and then they use Boxly, which is a different CRM, for the actual management. So they're using two separate systems. So if we can kind of say, like, we can combine all your systems into one system, maybe with an AI receptionist on the back of that. Hey, that's money for you. You could probably charge upfront X amount, like 10 grand, in order to do the whole project. And then you could just charge a reoccurring monthly revenue for all services. So if it's like CRM plus an AI receptionist, you can probably like charge like £800 a month, give or take, just to kind of like give them a service. And I think that's what's really powerful here. And that's making me think now, even with my own agency, I could probably do this. I could probably build the CRM, build the AI receptionist that plugs into the CRM, and then we have a great product. So I'm going to end it there on today's episode. If you want to see some types of builds, if you can just comment below, share, like, subscribe, watch my other videos as well, and I'll keep talking about how I'm building out the agency, day 7, and also my own product, which is AudioFlow. But yeah, the possibilities are endless, and I think one thing just to conclude is it's really easy, and it happens to me, is that there's so many ideas out there right now. And it's really easy to go off the track and kind of move on to the next shining thing. What I would say is pick something that you really believe in, what is easy to get to market, because even with my own product, AudioFlow, that's not the easiest to get to market, because it when you go in B2B and a high level environment, it takes a lot to kind of get through the door. Dental practice owners, or kind of the small to medium businesses where you can actually probably speak directly to the owner relatively easy, that is probably your best bet when it comes to just generating cash income. and recurring revenue at pace, basically. So yeah, what I'll do is next week I'll come back and show you the rest of the build, and then we can build something else together. So let me know what products you want me to build again, and then yeah, like, share, and subscribe, and I will speak soon. Thanks, bye.